Okay, hi. So those of you who don't know, my name is Avery and I use they, them pronouns. I'm posting this to my LGBT Christian YouTube channel, but don't worry, there's not going to be any talk of Christianity in this video. So yeah, I had top surgery with Dr. Hope Sherie in Charlotte, North Carolina, exactly 2 weeks ago. So I'm 2 weeks post-op, and so how this video will go, I'm going to talk a little bit about my experience with Dr. Sherie and the people who work for her and the Cosmetic Concierge, so that people know what to expect if you're considering her as your top surgeon. And after that, I'll kind of go through what top surgery in general has been like for me, what with the post-op care and stuff, and I'll show you, how the scars look and stuff if you're interested in that. They look pretty good. So 2 weeks ago today, I went to the Cosmetic Concierge. That's the name of her practice. My girlfriend was with me. We got there at 7:30 in the morning, and by, let's say, 9:30, I was in the operating room. In the meantime, they did have us wait a little longer than I would have liked. It was like, I think, a little over half an hour before I went back there, and they had me sign some forms, took my blood pressure, took some pre-op photos so that we'd have some comparison to work with, and I talked to Dr. Hope Sherie and talked to the anesthesiologist. But yeah, so by 9:30, which was on schedule, I was in the operating room getting hooked up to an IV, and next thing I know, I'm in bed in the hotel. I have no memory, thanks to the anesthesia wearing off, of what happened when I woke up from the surgery. So yeah, I only looked at top surgeons who did informed consent because I don't have that therapist letter proving that I'm trans. So for those of you who also don't have that, Dr. Hope Sherie is one of those top surgeons who is totally cool with informed consent. And I really appreciate that because I don't think we should need a letter to prove we're trans or non-binary. We know ourselves better than any therapist could. So yeah, she was really good about that. The one other top surgeon that I had a phone consultation with, and I think I had that consultation all the way back in April, was Paul Steinwald in Colorado. I decided not to go with him because, one, way more expensive than I was expecting. That would have been, I think, a little over $10,000 with him. Way out of my budget because I don't have insurance to help me. But yeah, something I didn't really appreciate from my phone consultation with Dr. Paul Steinwald was that I can't remember if it was him or one of his employees talking to me first, but one of them they asked about my history of how long I had known I was trans, and I felt like they were looking for proof that I was trans instead of just taking me at my word that I wanted this surgery. I mean, it's not horrible, I get they want to cover themselves, but something I really liked about Hope Sherie and all of the people working for her is that I never got the feeling that any of them questioned my identity. All they needed was the informed consent signature. I am 22, so I didn't need an adult's permission. I think possibly if you're under 18, look into whether they'll do informed consent with you with a parent signature as well. I believe so. But yeah, so my phone consultation with Dr. Hope Sherie went much better than the one I had with Dr. Steinwald's people. So I had that all the way back in May, I'm pretty sure, the phone consultation, and I talked to Kevin Martin, who works at the Cosmetic Concierge. I talked to him first for at least half an hour, and he went through a lot of the information with me. I had a lot of questions, and he had a lot of answers. I felt like he gave me honest, open answers. For instance, I asked if there was going to be a lot of pain, and he was like, "Oh yeah, you'll probably feel like you were hit by a truck for the first week." that actually wasn't the case for me. I had almost no pain, but I appreciated his honesty. You know, he didn't try to make it sound like it wasn't going to be bad when he thought it might be. And so then after talking to him for a while, he transferred me over to talk to Dr. Hope. And again, I felt like she gave really honest, open answers, and she heard out my questions, and I talked to her about like the financial aspects. I'll include a link to on my Tumblr where I have some of the pricing information. But basically, I'm pretty sure for what I wanted, the double incision, it's, I think, $7,500 is her average. But I asked her about the option of having no nipple grafts. She actually offered me a really significant discount for having that option. So that was awesome. I was paying within budget, even a little less than I had saved up for. So that was really cool. And so yeah, after that phone consultation, I think it was like a week later when I let them know I wanted to make an official, you know, schedule an official date for the surgery and stuff. So I did that with them. And throughout the time, I emailed them back and forth, and they were pretty prompt. I mostly interacted with Kevin, and he was pretty prompt about answering my emails. And one thing I liked is that they invited me to find some photos of other people's top surgery results and send those to them so that during the surgery they would have those printed out as sort of guidelines for Dr. Sherie, so that she knew what I wanted the scars, the incisions to look like. I thought that was really cool, so I sent some of those. So a week beforehand, I had a call, like a phone call pre-op appointment. Didn't have to be in Charlotte for that. One issue with that is I think it might have been the day that their computer base crashed on them, so there was some inconvenience the week leading up to my surgery when it comes to getting, you know, I think they didn't realize like I had that appointment, but so we had to like reschedule it for the next day, which for me, I was fine with that because my schedule was pretty open this summer. But again, I don't think that's typical for them, so you might have to find someone else who has had a surgery with Dr. Hope to see if they were better about that. I think it was just bad luck that the week up to my surgery and the day of, they were still having major computer issues. You know, stuff happens. So yeah, that's a bit about that. Then the day of the surgery was the first time I met them in person. Like I said, that went pretty smoothly. The waiting room is awesome, so if you're curious about that, I'll include some photos. Here you go. They had a television. They had drinks available, including alcohol, for those who are waiting for you to come out. All of that was free. And they also had the picture book called Red, which is about a blue crayon that has a red wrapper, so all of its friends and family think that it should be able to write in red, but it can only do blue because that's who it really is. So, you know, metaphor for like trans stuff to help kids learn. So I thought it was cool they had that book. They had a cute inscription on the inside about hoping that their clients will leave their surgery feeling more like themselves, and I thought that was really cute. I asked them about how many top surgeries they do, and Kevin told me that of the 23 surgeries in general that they had scheduled for the month, 19 were top surgeries, so it really is Dr. Hope's specialty. And I think she does a good job based on other photos I've seen and the results of my own surgery, which we'll get to. Don't worry, you'll see. Another thing I want to say about my interaction with Dr. Hope, with Kevin, with Bryn, who is the nurse, with some of the other people who work there. They're all really cool, really friendly, and I didn't get misgendered as a girl at all while I was there. No she pronouns. Some of them did assume I used he pronouns, and personally I'm okay with that. One person asked me what pronouns I used, so he was using they for me. A lot of the other people were using he. I think if I had told them like, oh, I use they pronouns, they would have tried harder to do that, but for me, I don't mind being called he. He appreciated that. And like even when I wasn't in the room, like my girlfriend told me that they didn't misgender me when talking about what was going on with her when I was in surgery, so that's cool. And yeah, post-op, I was completely out of it for quite a few hours after the surgery. Didn't feel any pain, I just acted goofy, and my girlfriend got to deal with all that. Me saying silly things and just kind of being very tired. You know, I slept a lot. And by the way, the surgery lasted, I believe, 4 hours, and so we were there at the clinic for probably at least 5 hours, because they also have you stay a while to make sure everything is okay before they let you go. But yeah, so once that evening, the anesthesia started wearing off and I was more aware of what was going on. I have memories at last of what happened that evening, and I didn't really feel any pain that evening. Mostly numbness, which for me was a cool thing. I didn't want to deal with the pain. They prescribed for me oxycodone, and I never used it actually. I just relied on Advil. I probably took like around 6 Advils a day for the first few days, and then it got down to like 3 or 4, and then by the end of that week I was down to just a couple Advils a day, and right now I really don't take any. It took that whole week, it was basically all numb. And then this past week, so week 2, I've had a lot of soreness, just like the incision being sore, and then like especially here where the drains had been was sore. For me, like that's expected, you know, like it feels like if you have like a bad cut, you know, and it's sore while it heals, it's not a big deal. You don't even really need Advil for it, you're just aware of it. So really I've been lucky with the pain. That's not everyone's experience, so you know, you might have pain, but for me it was mostly numbness, and then the feeling is slowly coming back. 1 week after the surgery, I had my post-op checkup in person. So I should say, so I stayed that whole week in a hotel nearby in Charlotte, North Carolina, because they want that post-op checkup the week after to be in person so that they can remove the staples, and just make sure everything looks okay and is doing okay. So I went with my girlfriend again back to the Cosmetic Concierge, and Dr. Sherie was in doing a surgery on someone else. So Kevin is the one who took the staples out. And I was kind of nervous, and so he was really nice and funny, like making jokes that put me more at ease while pulling out the staples. And I was just scared it would hurt and stuff. It didn't. And especially I thought the drains would hurt. So they use an open drain instead of the ones that have the bulbs that you squeeze or whatever, and I liked the open drain because how that works when you're healing, when you have the drains in for that week. So I'm gonna pull up my shirt. The binder that you wear, they actually gave me maxi pads to put here and here to catch anything that dripped from the drains, and I did not have much drainage or even all that much swelling. He took the drains out that following week, and I was really nervous it was gonna hurt. My girlfriend was in the room with me, and they were kind of joking around because it turned out he was like telling me, okay, I'm gonna count down 3, 2, 1 while I wasn't watching because I was nervous about the drains coming out. And I was like, okay, did you do it? And it turns out he had already taken the drains out, so they, you know, were just joking around with me that they were still in there. And so yeah, I didn't even feel the drains come out. Some people say they feel the drains come out and it's uncomfortable. I don't know if having the open drain style is better or if I'm just lucky, because I didn't feel it at all. Even though, like I said, that day the numbness had started wearing off a little bit, it was all good. And about the binder, he told me to keep wearing it, so I had worn the binder all day, every night, for that whole week. And it turns out I had not been wearing it tightly enough. So he tightened it and I was like, oh yeah, that's much tighter. For me, honestly, it's not that uncomfortable. Some people find it really uncomfortable. I don't know if it's because I'm autistic and I like the pressure. Like, it feels actually comforting to me. I've never liked binding, like, you know, when I had boobs. I'm not a fan of binding. It's not comfortable. I hate like that squished feeling, your boobs get sore, your back gets sore. This binder does not make your back sore, and obviously there's no boobs to feel sore, so it's just pressure. For me, I actually don't mind it at all. I'll probably try not wearing it anymore at all in a week or so, because what Kevin told me is just keep wearing it until you think all the swelling is down around the incision, and you feel like, you know, it's sealed and stuff. For me, I guess I'll show you what it looks like now. So I'm going to take off my shirt. And yeah, if you don't want to see it, just fast forward or stop watching, you know, look away from the screen. It's really not gross. I'm easily grossed out. It's not that gross. It was grosser when he, you know, had just taken out the staples. I was a little grossed out by it, like, not to the point that I regretted the decision or anything, you know. But just a warning, you know, if you don't like that. I know, that's a long-winded warning that you probably didn't need. Oh, there's, you can see the marks. I've been wearing the binder pretty tightly today because for the eclipse yesterday, for the eclipse viewing, I had it off for like 2 hours for the first time in these whole 2 weeks, having it off for more than a few minutes. And so I've been wearing it extra tight today just like to compensate for that. That was really nice. That was the first time I've been wearing button-up shirts so that I don't have to worry about like raising my arms or anything. And so it was really nice to see what I looked like completely flat. I wore a tank top, and it's amazing to wear a tank top and not have the binder like you know, like your normal chest flattening binder showing, like the sleeves showing through, and like it's very obvious that you're binding or have something under there. And instead I got to go out in the heat and nothing but a tank top, no worrying about, like, you know, the underboob sweat. It was so nice. The eclipse was fun in itself, but I was like, the flat chest added to my excitement. It was so great. So yeah, I think I do have a bit of swelling today. Here's a close-up. I'm really happy with the shape of it. I told them I didn't want like diagonal things going on, and I wanted sort of like straight and then that up, because it has to go up towards the armpit. That's the scab where the drain was, as you can see. And yeah, it's really clean. I've been putting Neosporin on it every night just because. There's a bit of swelling right here, it looks like, and it might look like more in the video. It's really not that much. It is a bit swollen. There have been times when there's not swelling here and it's like completely flat. Here's the other side. This side has a bit more like swelling going on. Guess I didn't even notice that. Right here still looks pretty goofy. But I'm confident that as the scar heals, that's gonna look more like this side, look like smoother and nicer. One thing I want to add for fellow people who get this, and so you go from having a not flat chest to suddenly having a very flat chest, and if you're like me, all of a sudden your stomach is actually less flat than your chest area. For me at least, and I know I'm a stick, but I do have a bit of a stomach, so I have felt a little self-conscious like wearing shirts and suddenly my stomach is pretty visible. But it's something I'm trying to get used to not suck in my stomach and feel self-conscious about it, because I've done that in the past even when just like binding and being flat. Because honestly, like, everyone has a stomach. It's normal. Even me, this little stick. It would be unhealthy if I lost so much weight that I had a completely flat stomach. This is what my healthy body looks like, and that includes a stomach, and I'm working on learning to be happy about that. Like when there's like when I'm wearing a shirt and there's like a bump where my stomach is, cool. I think it's part of my cuteness and part of my handsomeness. I don't know if that helps anyone else, but if you're self-conscious about that when you're binding or after getting the surgery, don't be. It's normal. Probably no one else notices as much as you do, and if they do, screw them. Whatever, who cares? Live your life. Enjoy your body. You look fine. So yeah, climbing down from my soapbox from that, I wanted to say a little bit about my choice not to have nipples. Part of it was I don't plan on taking hormones ever, taking testosterone, because I'm non-binary and I don't consider myself like trans-masculine. I don't really want to be masculine or feminine. I just kind of want to be neither. So I'm never taking testosterone, and unfortunately, I have to accept that that means there are people who are always going to read me as a girl, like strangers especially. But yeah, so the nipples to me, especially like if I ever do go shirtless to the beach, I don't really plan on it, but if I ever do, and I like wearing tank tops, and so sometimes they have the more open, like open here, and so if people kind of see my chest, just personally, I don't think I'd ever get to the point where I'd feel like comfortable with people seeing my nipples. And I know that's just like an internal thing, and it's a societal thing, and it's completely silly that any nipples on anybody of any gender are like considered inappropriate or like not okay and like inherently erotic or whatever. But yeah, I mean, personally for me, I just know that I'm more comfortable in my body without nipples. So I decided not to get them, and I love seeing photos of other folks who have also gone the no nipple route, because it's cool, you know, it's a way to like make your body yours and unique, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy with it, especially because like it's helped aftercare not be as hard. I know people have to deal with like the nipple like kind of like scabbing over and peeling off and feeling funny, and you worry about the sensitivity ever coming back, hoping it will. I don't have to worry about any of that, which for me is nice. Yeah, so I have the photos. I've talked about the Cosmetic Concierge, and just yeah, the joy I feel having a flat chest, not having to bind in this really hot weather, hot and humid. It's nice to go out without anything like that. I think that's it, but yeah, you can send me basically any questions you want. Even if you view this video like years after I post it, go ahead and send me a question. I'll answer it when I can, because those of us who are getting top surgery or transitioning in any other way, we need to help each other out, you know? I didn't find a ton of videos from people who specifically had Hope Sherie. They're probably out there, but just like searching for them, like hoping they tagged it with her name or whatever, I didn't find a ton, and that's the main reason why I'm posting this, so that people who are interested in her specifically can see this. And I hope you enjoyed it, yeah. I hope it was informative, because that's what I was going for.